All right, Tigers, here we go. Shifting or determinants that move the supply curve. Yesterday we talked about how the curve moves in, right? In or left or out and right. So what we want to discuss here at that point is what makes the curve move. And so the acronym that will help you is STORES. Okay? First one here, subsidies and taxes. This is the one we've been talking about, which we say is some type of government policy. Okay? To that point. Will affect. Subsidies will increase, taxes will decrease supply. Typically, a change in technology will typically only increase the supply curve. Any new technology will move it to that point. Okay, the opportunity cost of alternative products they could produce. Okay, for instance, say you own a pizza store, right? And you make your own dough. Well, if all of a sudden it becomes really expensive to make pizza, but it's a lot cheaper to make bread, well then maybe you convert over from being a pizza shop to a bread shop. And when you do that, you would lower the supply of pizza and increase the supply of bread. And that's just one of those things that could happen at that point. This fourth one, guys, is probably the biggest one. It's the cost of production, or what we're talking about, the inputs or the ingredients of something. Again, pizza shop, right? If all of a sudden the price of tomatoes skyrockets, well then the supply of pizza is going to decrease because you need pizza sauce to make pizza. Okay? So inputs, what things are made out of, affects. So like steel and cars would be one of those things at that point, right? Expectations, again, about future prices. But this one's a little more backward, though, because if sellers think that expectations of prices are going to be much higher in the future, they'll hold off producing now. Supply will move in now because they'll wait to put all of their releases out when they think the price will be higher. And the number of sellers. Okay, more sellers, more supply, less sellers, less supply, right? Okay, the change in the price of a product does not, ready? I'm going to put it down here. Shift the supply curve. Right? A change in the price of the product doesn't move the supply curve. Okay? I'm going to say it again. It does not shift the supply curve. Make sure we're clear about this point, right? Okay. So here's a couple things to go through. And then the warm-up tomorrow will be based on this example of, excuse me, hamburgers. Okay? Let me erase that because it gives you all the answers. Okay. So let me get my arrow guy out here. See if I can do as many of these arrows as I can. Okay. Subsidies increase the supply of a product. Okay? Which is a shift to the right of the supply curve. An excise tax is a tax on the production of a particular product. Okay, so let's make sure we have this clear, okay? Excise taxes decrease the supply of a product, which is a shift to the left of the supply curve. Now, real quick, over here. If you see income tax, anything dealing with income, demand, right? I'm actually going to do it this way because it's just a little easier that way. Okay? Anything with income is a tax on demand. Anything with sales is going to affect supply. Okay? Make sure we're clear on that point as we go forward. Right? Technology improves efficiency, which ought to increase the supply of the product, moving that curve to the right. Okay? Opportunity cost. The price of an alternative product increases, then supply of the current product. Okay, the price of an alternative product increases. The supply of the current product then is going to, remember, it's going to go down. Why? Remember, if you're selling ground meat and the price of tacos skyrockets, and you're a producer, you don't want to sell hamburgers, you want to sell tacos because it's a much better deal. So the price of the supply of the current product goes down because the opportunity cost has, I could just use my arrow guy, increase, which means I'm going to lose more money than I was at that time. So instance, hamburgers, tacos, right? Okay, resource costs. Cost of production increases, supply of a product will decrease. Cost of production decreases, supply of product will increase. Okay, example of cost of production, we already talked about this one. Okay, steel and U.S. cars, right? Okay, expectations about future prices and profit. If a seller, expects the price and profit for their good to increase in the future, they will offer increase in the future. Less for sale now. If a seller expects lower prices in the future, they'll offer more now, which will help. Sellers enter the market, supply goes up. Sellers leave the market, supply goes down. Talking about people leaving the market, there used to be a lot more U.S. car companies around. Just some ones that are coming off the top of my head. There used to be cars called Saturn, Oldsmobile, Yugo. There used to be a Hummer that people used to be able to buy. So in that realm, that's what we're talking about to that point. Okay, this is a great sheet for you guys to reference, especially in supply shifting. Okay, so we have 5 curves here. Let's do these as practice, and then we'll be done for the day. Okay, a new fertilizer increases number of potatoes to be harvested with no additional labor. That's some form of new technology. Anytime there's new technology, the supply curve is going to move out. Okay, supply curve out. Government gives huge tax breaks to computer companies. Okay, that's a subsidy. We want more computers. Out. Okay, a wildfire destroys 10,000 acres of trees. In. Right, we don't have any lumber. Government places an embargo on foreign-made steel. What that basically means is that, they want less foreign-made steel in here. So that's going to move the supply of steel in at that point. And guys, this is one of my favorite things of all time. One of my little birds, several years ago, we were doing this example, and she raised her hand, and she said, "Mr. Tengowski, I'm confused." I go, "Why?" She said, "What's a leather skyrocket?" Yes, I know. She had a moment. It's a skyrocket made out of leather. We're talking about the price of leather itself skyrockets, or increases, different way to say it, right? So if the price of leather goes up, most of men's dress shoes are made of leather. That's the input cost of production. So the supply curve will move in. Okay, so notice how, okay, if I'm saying this, out, in, oops, in, and if I use my arrow guy, because this is what it should look like, okay, out, right, out, in, right, and just for good measure, because I should, S1, I'm going to highlight that, okay, oh, I should have 4 of them over here now. So here's my S1, here's my S1, here's my S1, and here's my last S1. Hope this this helps, so you guys have it. That's it for today. Make sure you do the warm-ups for today and tomorrow. We'll talk to you soon. Go Tigers.